Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from Virginia International Raceway. It is time to go racing once again with the USF Juniors, part of this Cooper Tires VIR Grand Prix weekend. The opening step on the ladder of the USF Pro Championships presented by Cooper Tires. USF Juniors putting a great show on yesterday afternoon, even with some wet weather coming midway through the race that brought out the yellow as the rain fell. A couple drivers went off the racetrack, but it dried up quickly, and we went back to a four-lap dash, which was super exciting. Nicholas Giafoni from D-Force Racing getting his fourth win of the season, third in a row. Big hello to all those of you around the country and around the world listening into and watching the broadcast here today. My name is Rob Howden, the voice of this USF Pro Championships. Excited to be here at this iconic racetrack, Virginia International Raceway. And again, such a tremendous circuit, and we kind of saw how it played out yesterday. 3.27 miles in length, 17 corners all told around this track. And in chatting with so many of the USF junior drivers left yesterday afternoon after the races, we could see how much the draft plays. Essentially, if you're out front, you got to work pretty hard to be able to break that draft. And in fact, Jack Jeffers so close to breaking the draft yesterday, just I think it pulled out enough to maybe defend himself from Giafoni before the yellow came with the rain, and that brought everybody back in. So Jeffers was so close to potentially able to break that draft and pull away. Just didn't come to play, but today we're lining things up for another great run. Jeffers, as I talked about, almost got that first race win yesterday, although he and Giafoni put on an absolute show, I think, earning some mutual respect going side by side throughout the last four laps. Giafoni coming out with the victory, Jeffers in second, and then D-Force Racing's Quinn Armstrong coming out of a melee, a tussle, if you will, to work his way onto the podium, P3. It'll be Jeffers on the pole, though. He had the quickest lap there, second quickest lap in qualifying, so he'll start on the pole position. Let's have a look at the full grid right now. It's 14 drivers, as you can see, on pit lane here at VIR and getting set to go. Before we do that, let's talk a little bit, though, about the weather. It's significantly different than when it was yesterday. 85 degrees yesterday afternoon we went racing. It was warm. We had beaten down sun before the sun came through with those clouds. It is 60 degrees, 25-degree swing. It is much cooler here this morning. Full cloud cover, although no rain has been forecast. I think we're going to have a dry race, but it is significantly cooler than it was yesterday, so definitely a different approach for the drivers. With the cool temperatures, and we had some drizzle earlier today, so the track, I believe, is fine, but they're going to give these drivers 2 warm-up laps to get some heat built into these Cooper tires. The drivers getting 2 fresh sets of tires for qualifying and 3 races. So, again, tire strategy. When do you put the fresh tires on? As you can see there, Jack Jeffers on sticker tires. You go a little further back, looks to me like Joey Brienza as well on the stickers. So, and again, there's Ethan Ho as well. So sticker tires up front for sure for this second race. So let's have a look at the grid. As I said, 14 drivers set to go. Row number 7 will have Giovanni Cabrera, the Florida driver, on the outside, starting 14th alongside the Texan Brady Golan. Golan for D-Force Racing in the number 18. Cabrera for Exclusive Autosport in the number 93. Row 6 will have Carson Eder on the outside in the number 57. Eder for DC Autosport has got quicker and quicker throughout the season and really has found some pace here this weekend for sure. He'll start on the outside of row 6. On the inside, Lucas Fakuri, who was in a battle for the podium finish yesterday. Didn't quite get that after contact with Joey Brienza. He's going to launch from P11. Into the top 10 now. Row number 5 starting on the outside. Jimmy Lockhart, podium finisher from Barber Motorsports Park. And Sebring, the VRD Racing driver in the number 48, has shown good speed. He'll start from the outside of row number 5 alongside 13-year-old Hudson Schwartz for VRD Racing, his rookie year here in the USF Pro Championships. Schwartz in the number 29 starting in 9th. Again, 2 warm-up laps for the drivers as they circulate around the pace car here before we get going. Row number 4, yesterday's podium finisher, Quinn Armstrong, a winner from Sebring, the Aussie for D-Force Racing, in that number 16 starting 8th. And on the inside, Max Taylor out of New Jersey in the number 33 for VRD Racing. The Brazilian Eric Schouten, good run yesterday to P6. That's where he'll start today outside of row number 3. Schouten for Exclusive Autosport in the number 90 alongside Ethan Barker, the multidiscipline driver who not only is running USF Juniors this year, but doing a bunch of oval racing as well in both an open wheel modified and a late model stock car. So a lot of different experience for Ethan Barker. It's the best we've seen him run here. Barker starting on the inside of row number 3. We'll go to row 2 now on the outside. Your point leader, 4 wins on the season. It is the Brazilian Nicholas Giaffoni, yesterday's winner of the number 19 for D-Force Racing, starting 4th. And on the inside, the driver who won at Sebring had an issue yesterday. Contact with Fakiri put him to the tail of the field. Joey Brienza needs a really good run here to get himself back into the championship contention. He'll start on the inside of row number 2 in the number 91, the Colorado driver running for Exclusive Autosport. 14 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row. Yesterday's pole sitter, Ethan Ho for DC Autosport, starting on the outside in that number 68 machine. The Californian will launch from the outside of row 1. The driver that will lead them to the line, he'll punch off first. Jack Jeffers out of San Antonio, Texas, in the number 92 for Exclusive Autosport, looking for that elusive first victory. Jeffers and Ho on row 1, Brienza and Giaffoni on row 2, Barker and Schoten on row 3, Taylor and Armstrong, row 4. Schwartz and Lockhart, row 5. Fakiri and Eder, row 6. And Golan and Cabrera on row number 7. As I talked about the international field, we have a good group of 3 Brazilians in the field here, as well as the Australian Quinn Armstrong. And as you look up and down the USF Pro Championships and USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000, it is most definitely an international field. A number of drivers from all over the world coming to run in this fantastic program. And not surprising, of course, the USF Pro Championships with an unprecedented scholarship program. You win a championship, you win a significant component of the budget to move to the next level, running the USF Pro Championships scholarship colors. And again, looking forward to kind of keeping an eye on Detroit and the Grand Prix this weekend, as last year's USF Pro 2000 champion Louis Foster qualifying on pole for both Indy Next races. Contact between he and Hunter McElroy at the start of race number 1 took them both essentially out of contention. One of our longtime drivers, Reese Gold, coming through for the victory after a gearbox problem in the final couple of corners for Nolan Siegel. Another graduate from the USF Pro Championships. Reese Gold coming away with the win, but Louis Foster will be looking for that first Indy Next victory. Of course, coming into that program with the scholarship from winning USF Pro 2000 last year with Exclusive Autosport. There's Jack Jeffers circulating around his way through turn number 5 as we get ready to go racing. Again, 2 laps around to get some heat into these tires. The time clock has started. Again, this is one of the situations here. We're trying to get these guys going, so the time clock has started, and this will be lap number 1, essentially, around the racetrack. So it'll be a 14-lap at speed, but the concept was to get some heat built into these tires. Just 60 degrees, 61 degrees now ambient temperature. And we did have some drizzle as we all left Danville this morning from the hotel. It was raining this morning, a little light drizzle. So again, doing our best to make sure the conditions are perfect for these young drivers. Again, anywhere from 13 to about 18, 19 years of age on the grid here for USF Juniors. 14 to about 22, 23 in USF 2000. And I think we have essentially 15 to about 23 as well in the USF Pro 2000 category. Those 2 classes, 2000 and Pro 2000, back in action in a couple of weeks at the iconic Road America facility. And these USF juniors will be there at Road America alongside the Skip Barber Formula Car Series, again, as they are this weekend at Road America in mid-August. So 14 laps of racing for you. As this, again, warm-up lap, the second warm-up lap will count as one of our race laps. Field getting lined back up nicely here, down the back straightaway into turn 14, the 14-15 combination. That left-right downhill, tremendously challenging corner. You keep coming down through turn 16 into 17 as well. We will look forward to seeing these drivers fire things up as they now work their way through 14. Pace car you saw checked out. Jeffers and Ho on the front row. Brienza and Giaffoni on row 2. Barker and Schoten row 3. And we'll all hold our collective breaths as they work their way down into turn number 1. These drivers have done such a great job throughout this season. We're very, very proud of the way they've been able to show racecraft. Coming through 17, again, the driver in control, Jack Jeffers, the Texan for Exclusive Autosport, looking for that first victory. Almost got it yesterday. Will today be the day? 13 other drivers looking to steal that win away. And away we go. Drivers getting ready to roll. They'll come onto the front straightaway. And it's almost time to go racing. Race number 2 for USF Juniors. Field looks good. In position. Jack Jeffers is ready. And he goes green, green, green. Good jump for Jeffers. Here comes Brienza up the inside. I think that's potentially Giaffoni right there with him. Down to the inside. Big run around the outside. You can run the outside of this racetrack in the opening corner, and indeed, good run there for Brienza. I think he's going to go to second, but oh no, down the inside comes Ethan Ho. Brienza's going to try to roll him around the outside of turn number 4. Lots of room on the outside of the track there, and not quite there. Giafoni's going to try to go to the inside of Brienza into turn 4. No, Brienza's going to run around the outside. He'll go to P3, but up front, it's Jack Jeffers, clean and green, as he now works his way through 5 and 6. Through the snake, everybody lining up. Ethan Ho defending from a aggressive Joey Brienza on the opening circuit. Brienza slotting back into the 3rd spot, Giafoni in 4th. But they've got a bit of breathing room back to the P5. And then you can see 6th on back. Nose to gearbox. Leaders coming through turn number 10. You can't see it here, but on the track walk, it is literally, it feels like about a 2-story walk up from turn 10 up to 11 and 12. Look at this, Jeffers. He get a great run out of turn number 11. He is so good through 11 and 12. But again, this racetrack is so hard to break the toe. And much, I'm sure, to Jeffers' chagrin, he had literally just broke the toe on Giafoni before the rain came yesterday afternoon and brought out that yellow flag. Let's see if he's able to do it here. And, of course, Brienza is going to do whatever he can to get by Ethan Ho. That battle could be what Jeffers needs to pull away. You can see how they brought it right back up. Jeffers had probably 5 car lengths coming out of turn number 12, but Ho using that draft. These cars, very similar, of course, to the USF 2000 car. Essentially the same basic car. Different wheels, uprights, different brake package, different dampers. We put a restrictor on the engine as well. These cars are easily converted to USF 2000s. We'll talk more about that in a second. Here's, again, Jeffers has got to defend to the inside. Here comes Giafoni, I think, as well. He's going to try to go to the outside. Little brake lock up there for Brienza. And Ho gets a pretty good run. Not quite there. Thought that maybe Ethan Ho had that position. Brienza's going to be on the inside. Look at this battling. And that's Max Taylor in the number 33 for VRD Racing, who's getting up here. And this is a really good look at the parity of our program. As Giafoni side by side, he gets through turn number 4. Giafoni by Brienza. Brienza was thinking about the outside, but couldn't hold it. But we got 4 different teams right now running in the top 5. Exclusive, D-Force, D-Force, DC Autosport, and VRD all in the top 5. So all 4 of the teams in the paddock now with a driver in the top 5. Eric Schoten there in 6th spot. 7th, Jimmy Lockhart. Hudson Schwartz in 8th. Quinn Armstrong, Lucas Fakuri rounding out the top 10. Ethan Barker, who started up in the 5th position, has fallen back to the tail of the field. Not sure what happened to Barker on the opening couple of laps, but again, watch Jeffers get that good run out. He is very good out of turn number 12, but the draft is going to bring Ethan Ho right back into it. So I talk a little bit about the older USF 2000 car. You got to go back to 2016. The Van Diemen was a car that was run for a couple of decades. It was essentially the quintessential, F2000 car. The Van Diemen, it had a ton of aerodynamic downforce, and even throughout those 2 decades of racing, you would hear a lot about drivers talking about aero wash with those cars because there's so much downforce. Well, when we designed the new Tatis car here, which is now the USF 22, at that point was the USF 17. That was before we had the halo on the car. That's the new USF 22. But this car was designed to have a significantly decreased aerodynamic downforce, more mechanical grip than aerodynamic downforce, so we'd have great racing. And that is what it has developed, no doubt about that. Look at Giafoni trying to go to work. Again, this time down to the inside goes Ethan Ho, but that's not going to work because you can run the outside there. This could be an opportunity right now for Jeffers as here comes Giafoni to the inside, turn number 3. Book it. He's through. Into turn number 2, coming out of the opening corner. Giafoni gets by Ho, so move Giafoni. Now, is it enough, though? Did he get held up enough that maybe Jeffers could pull away? I don't know. Jack Jeffers through 5 and 6, now down that back straightaway. Does he have enough of a gap to potentially hold off Giafoni? He's so good coming out of 12. That draft, as we said, so big down here into these 7, 8, 9 combo. Jeffers has got a pretty good gap as he broke the draft. The long run from 12 to 14. We know that Jeffers great through here to the drone shot. Really good exit out of 12. That is a big draft That's a big gap, though. Is it enough? We'll see when they come and crest through 14 and 15. Does Ethan Ho take a shot at Giafoni at the end of the long straightaway again? Last time by, Jeffers, Ho, Giafoni, Brienza, and Taylor, your top 5. Again, watch them as they work their way through here. Yep, right back up there. Jeffers with maybe 3 car lengths. It was Schouten, Lockhart, Schwartz, Armstrong, and Fakuri to cap off the top 10. Joey Brienza potentially back to 5th. I want to think that maybe Taylor was able to get by to P4. We'll see as they come back around here. Indeed, Max Taylor has gone to 4th. Brienza back to 5th. Giafoni right on Jeffers. So Jeffers was close to breaking the draft, but not quite enough. Look at Giafoni around the outside. Giafoni's going to get this done, I think. Giafoni gets it done on the outside of turn number 1. Move Nicholas Giafoni back to P1. So the Brazilian, who has won 3 straight races, 4 on the season, has gone to the lead on Jack Jeffers. So now it's Giafoni, Jeffers, Ho, Taylor, Brienza, and Schouten. Eric Schouten's been getting more and more pace throughout the year as he gets more comfortable with his car, learning the team, of course, as well. We found him pretty much at the tail of the top 10, maybe 11th, 12th kind of a thing at the start of the season, but he has really started to step things up, and not surprising. We talk a lot about the young drivers getting better and better throughout the mid part of the season. Had a chance to go back to Brazil for a couple of weeks. Celebrated his birthday. All right, let's see if Jack Jeffers is able to use the draft this time. He and Ethan Ho, 2nd and 3rd. Ho's right there. Right on the gearbox. Ho's going to look to the inside. Ethan Ho potentially alongside Jeffers up the long back straightaway. So Jeffers, who almost had a chance to break the draft, did not, and he may be getting challenged for P2 right now. As he, side by side, I believe, with Jeffers, or with Ho rather, coming up the straightaway. Oh, he holds him off. And here comes Max Taylor to go to work again. Remember, Taylor and Ethan Ho made contact in turn number 2 yesterday. Ho got looped around. Taylor dropped a wheel. And they made right front to left rear contact. That changed the race for Ethan Ho. Lap 5 goes in the books, 10 to go. Ho around the outside. Look at this. Taylor's going to try to make it 3 wide into turn number 1. Taylor down to the bottom. And indeed, Taylor's going to go through. Ho around the outside. Jeffers goes back to P4. Ethan Ho still holding on to 2nd, and this fighting is allowing Giafoni to pull away. Nicholas Giafoni more than happy to pull away as they scrap for 2nd. Max Taylor made it 3 wide, down into turn number 1, and Jeffers wisely pulling out of this. They try to go back at it. Jeffers going backwards, which is kind of surprising for the driver who showed such good pace yesterday. His teammate, Brienza's getting by. I wonder if there's an issue here right now with Jack Jeffers. He's going the wrong direction right now. Jeffers, who led all the way back now to, I believe, 5th. He's got his teammate Schouten right behind him. Jimmy Lockhart on the move as well. So not a great midsection here for Jack Jeffers. He's got to get back on it. Let's see if Ethan Ho can potentially get back up here to Giafoni. Giafoni turned the fast lap of the race last time by a 155.745. The Brazilian, 4 wins on the season. Stretched the championship over Joey Brienza. Coming into the race, Quinn Armstrong moving into 2nd place in points. It was a 40 marker difference. And look at this. There's the move. The 33 of Max Taylor has gone to P2. Does he have a race car that could potentially reel in the leader? Jack Jeffers in that 2nd place finish moved him up to 4th in points, but he's not running well right now. That's for sure. There's an issue there. Ho still runs in 2nd. It's actually 3rd for Taylor. I thought that was actually Taylor going by Ho. It's still Ho in 2nd. Pardon me. That is, I believe, Schouten now up into 4th. Eric Schouten's gone to P4. Look at this scrap further back. Jimmy Lockhart's working his way up there. That's Lockhart in the 48. Brienza there. Jeffers going backwards. Flat backwards to 7th. I think maybe even 8th right now. There's got to be some kind of an issue. As Schouten now battling it out with Jimmy Lockhart. 1, 2, 3. You can see them pulling away, coming through the snake here. There's Giafoni, Ho, and now Max Taylor. Schouten in 4th. Lockhart 5th. Lockhart's going to look to the inside. Hold your breath, folks. Maybe side by side coming through. Tough to do here. Oh, and Schouten kind of backs out. Lockhart stuffed it up the inside of turn number 7 and 8. Wow. Our juniors drivers, no short on aggression. That is for sure. Here's a side-by-side battle. That's Brienza trying to get back by Quinn Armstrong, I believe. Man, wheel-to-wheel action. Giafoni, Ho, Taylor, Schouten, and Brienza was the top 5 last time by. It's shaking things up a bit as the VRD guys have stepped things up. They currently run 3rd and 4th with Taylor and Lockhart. Put lap 7 in the books next time by. 8 to go. The lead last time by 1.1 seconds for Nicholas Giafoni as he's trying to grab a stranglehold on this championship. Again, long way to go still. This is only the halfway point of the season. We still have Mid-Ohio, Road America, and the Circuit of the Americas still to run. Giafoni has emerged as the primary contender for this championship and that scholarship to move to USF 2000 in 2024. $241,000, the scholarship to move to 2000 next year. Leader now 1.6 up on Ethan Ho, who's looking to get his first podium finish of the season. Jack Jeffers is, I think, into pit lane potentially. Yes, he is. Jeffers has come to the pits. Driver who finished 2nd yesterday, goes to 4th, is now in pit lane with an issue. Again, he figured something must have been wrong with Jeffers. Team having a look at that car right now. So Jeffers down to 14th. He'll be ready to fight back this afternoon. We have another race still on the docket for today. Those of you tuning in here on the mobile app or on our USF Pro Championships YouTube channel, we go green flag again this afternoon at 12:55 for race number 3 of this triple header at VIR. Tough one. There it is. Jack Jeffers in pit lane. Man, to go from the lead and so close to breaking the draft to then having an issue and falling back through the field, that's tough for Jeffers. Oh, potential contact between the two VRD drivers. Yeah, that was Lockhart and Taylor together. Lockhart tried to make a move by Taylor and almost went off the racetrack. Joey Brienza had a front row seat on that one. He's trying to attack now. Oh, driver off. One of the D-Force guys has gone off over in turn number 17. I don't think he went far enough off to make contact with the wall, but he's off track and will ideally get things back underway. There's the battle down into turn number 1. That may be Brienza. Nope, not quite. Brienza trying to get by Lockhart. Look at this fight. This is for 4th. Lockhart still holding the spot. Brienza right there. Joey Brienza after that DNF for contact yesterday with Lucas Facuri dropping down to 3rd in points. Back by 34 points right now from Giafoni, who's leading the way. Giafoni looking to extend that gap in the D-Force Racing Machine, the Brazilian second-generation driver. Eric Schouten having a good run, P6. Brienza's currently 5th. 13-year-old Hudson Schwartz. Strong run here in 7th as the VRD cars lining things up. Jacob Loomis and the crew over there at VRD have dialed things in nicely here for race number 2. See them running here down the back straightaway now. Great shot from our drone. And oh, we got full course. Full course caution I'm going to say likely for the driver who went off in turn number 16. I wonder whether or not they're stranded out there or not. This, I don't think, is going to be a long caution at all. We saw one of those. It was actually Quinn Armstrong who went off. Oh, tough one for Quinn, who worked his way to. He was third yesterday. He moved up into second in points. Giafoni is just loving what's happening right now. I'll tell you this, but not the yellow. I was going to say loving the fact that all the drivers he's battling with in the championship have had issues. But this yellow flag brings everybody back into play again. That gap that was 2 seconds will be erased as we are full course yellow. Again, I don't see this as being a long yellow flag. I think they're going to be able to get that driver back onto the track. Again, it's Quinn Armstrong who went off. Jack Jeffers still in pit lane. Whatever the issue is with Jeffers, it is keeping him in pit lane. Let's re-rack it for you, folks. 8 laps in the books as Giafoni comes across the line. Make that 9 laps. 9 laps. There's your pace car. Giafoni, your leader. Ethan Ho in second. Max Taylor third. Jimmy Lockhart fourth. And Joey Brienza fifth. 6th is Eric Schouten. 7th, Hudson Schwartz. 8th, Brady Golan. 9th, Lucas Facuri. 10th is Carson Etter. 11th, Giovanni Cabrera. 12th is Ethan Barker. 13th, Quinn Armstrong, driver off the racetrack over in turn 16. And Jack Jeffers, as we know, off track, 14th. But again, full course yellow, setting up what's going to be a mad dash again. Giafoni broke it in the draft, as had Ethan Ho. Both those drivers were staring at P1 and P2 finishing positions. I think Max Taylor and Jimmy Lockhart will be 2 drivers extremely happy to see that yellow, because both those drivers look like they may have the pace to potentially grab a race win. Neither have scored a victory yet this year. A couple of podiums for Jimmy Lockhart. Lockhart was on the podium both at Sebring and Barber. Max Taylor looking to grab his first podium finish. Indeed, Lockhart, who sits 6th place in points right now, finished 3rd in race 3 at Sebring and 3rd in race 2 at Barber. Was able to get by Lucas Facuri on the late go there to get into 3rd in what was a D-Force dominated weekend. Not a great run yesterday for Lockhart. He'll look to bounce back here today. Could be a podium finish if it all plays out. Looks like Quinn Armstrong maybe did make contact with the barrier, as we've got the flatbed out there. So this could take a little longer time than we thought. The AMR safety crew out there to hopefully get this thing picked up quickly. One of the good things about VIR is it is a long lap around here. We have lots of time left on the clock. Ideally, we'll only lose a couple of laps here. First 9 laps cleanly in. The field working its way back around here again. This is coming down through that 14, 15, 16 downhill run. The problem with that, we saw Quinn Armstrong go off, whether it was contact or he dropped the wheel, whatever happened. As I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, we did have a little bit of precipitation earlier this morning. So I'll tell you that you're not slowing down when you hit the grass when it's wet. There's no doubt about that. You kind of pick up speed. You can't brake. You can't slow the car down. So although we can't see it from the view we have, I would not be surprised if he potentially made some contact with the tire barrier coming off the racetrack there. So the D-Force team's got some work to do on Quinn Armstrong's machine. And to be honest, I think the only driver who hasn't had an issue in D-Force has been Brady Golan. Because Giafoni went off in turn number 11 and 12 in practice and hit the wall. Facuri's had an issue already, so now Quinn Armstrong potentially with some damage as well. So D-Force crew has been working overtime. There's the 19 of Giafoni looking for his 4th straight victory and 5th of the season. I think he had it in the bag, but this yellow flag has most certainly pressed the reset button. Everybody behind will be ready to attack. 5 to go 4 to go when we get back around. 3 laps maybe at the end of this one, if they're able to get it cleaned up quickly. Because, again, we'll put lap 11 in the books here. We're not going to go green this time by, so one more round would be lap 12. So we may get a 3-lap dash. I think we're going to lose a couple of laps here. Jack Jeffers back onto the racetrack there in the Corpay number 92 for Exclusive Autosport. Hey, listen, when you're talking points, all he's really got to do is get a couple more laps in here, one other lap, and he's going to be able to go by Quinn Armstrong, so he'll move up to 13th. So good job for Exclusive Autosport. And in the end, I always talk about this, when we get to the season finale, a championship could come down to 1 point. And the one I always like to go to, because this was the first season that the Anderson Promotions crew was managing the Indy Lights program. It was a battle between Gabby Chavez and Jack Harvey for the Indy Lights Championship, which is, of course, Indy Next now. It came down to a race at Sonoma. In the end, they tied for points. So, of course, you go to second, right? Most second place, or most wins. They both were tied for most wins. You go to most second place finishes. And literally, they were tied for second place finishes. So, Gabby Chavez had one more third place finish than Jack Harvey to win the scholarship to move up to IndyCar. It's that close. Every single point counts. As we saw, here's the car there of Quinn Armstrong. You can see the damage. So indeed, he backed it into the wall. So I think you're gonna see wing damage and very likely right rear damage as well. So the D-Force crew will get him dialed back in. 12:55 green flag, as I said, for race number 2 this afternoon. They'll have 12:25 right now. They're going to have a little less than 3 hours. There's the car of Quinn Armstrong, so damage to the right rear and the rear wing. They got almost 3 hours to get that thing done. You can see the D-Force crew already heading back, get ready to go to work. Lights are out of the pace car. Nice job for the AMR crew. We are going back to green flag, so 4 laps. Look, they're stacking things up right now. Ethan Ho, I'll tell you, second, third, and fourth, hungry. Giafoni's already had lots of wins. Ho, Taylor, Lockhart, all looking for their first win of the season. You can be sure they're going to swarm. And indeed, here comes Ho to the outside. We're back to green flag. Look to the inside for Taylor. Does he throw it up? Do we get a brake lock up? We do from Ho. He'll try the outside. Can't hold it. Ho's going to lose a couple of spots. He overcooks it. The D-Force car's through. One goes around. One of the VRD drivers dropped a wheel on the exit, and he has gone around. You can see him try to spin the wheels to get back out onto the racetrack. Keep it going. Keep it going. Yeah, keep it going. And that may bring out a yellow if he's not able to get that thing going again. But we're back to green flag. And they'll definitely let things kind of sort out a bit here. Hopefully that driver will be able to get going. Otherwise, we may go back to yellow. We may get that 2-lap dash we talked about. They'll put lap number 12 in the books this time by. That driver's still off the racetrack. And there's Ethan Ho, and he's lost a wing. He made contact when he went off the track. Ho's going to go to the tail of the field. So indeed, we'll 100% go full course yellow here, I believe, with the fact that we have a wing on the racetrack. They'll work their way out of turn number 12 now. That is, I believe, I'm not sure if that's Taylor or Lockhart. Full course yellow is being displayed. Full course yellow. Drivers having some issues going down into 1. This is not going to take very long to get these cars back going. They're going to grab that wing. They're going to push that VRD driver back onto the track. I don't know why we're throwing the white flag at the same time. We've got lots of time, 4 laps remaining. Yeah, I wonder whether or not they're using that white flag for the safety vehicle instead, because this is only going to put lap number 12 in the books when they come back around here. So when they do get back around, it'll be lap number 12. They'll get that wing of Ethan Ho. We should be able to go back with 2 laps remaining. So that 2-lap dash I talked about, very likely coming. They'll get that car pushed back onto the racetrack over in turn number 1. Ethan Ho will have to likely come into pit lane with no wing. across the line here. Moved Jack Jeffers up to 13th as Quinn Armstrong is out. Jeffers got that extra lap he needed. They've already got the car back onto the racetrack, so yeah, we should probably be able to go back to green flag here. The white flag maybe just for the safety car down in turn number 1. 12 laps in. So let's reset it. Giafoni with the lead still. Max Taylor in second. So that was Jimmy Lockhart who had gone off and spun. Ethan Ho had the issue, as we know. He's gone back to 10th. So Giafoni, your leader. Max Taylor in second. Joey Brienza now to third. Hudson Schwartz up to fourth. Eric Schouten in fifth. Brady Goal in sixth. Lucas Facuri seventh. Ethan Barker, who had an issue at the start, went back to 14th. Finds himself back up in eighth. Giovanni Cabrera now into ninth. Ethan Ho in 10th. Lockhart goes back to 11th, but back on the racetrack. And he did not lose a lap. They got him rolling again. So he did not. Carson Etter is in 12th. Carson down a lap right now, too. Not sure what happened to Carson. Jeffers now has 9 laps in and Armstrong off, as we said. So lights out of the pace car. We're going to go back to green. 2 laps. I talked about how hungry Taylor, Ho, and Lockhart were to get that first race win. And that's what you just saw. And listen, this is a development series. Both of those drivers, all 3 of those drivers really, Taylor did the best to hold on. Ho was trying to run the outside, which we know you can hold the outside. We saw Giafoni go around the outside of Jeffers. I believe Ho likely dropped the wheel on the exit. And that, of course, you do that over there in the wet grass. He ended up sliding off it into the barriers. So that's how he got the rear wing damage. Luckily, didn't potentially hurt any of the race car itself, as he's still circulating here in 10th. Lockhart did the same thing, dropped the wheel. Just a quick rotation, as you saw, not able to get back on track. You see that, and everybody knows the best opportunity, of course, on a restart to get that lead away. Everybody essentially tried to shoot their shot at Giafoni. This time it'll be Taylor again. We're going to go back to green flag. 13 in the books when they come back around. How about a 2-lap dash to see who wins here in race 2 at VIR? You know Taylor's going to send it up into turn 1. 100% he will. He's right on him. Giafoni's going to run the bottom. Taylor's going to go to the outside. Brienza now having to defend from Hudson Schwartz. Schwartz will lock it up. Brienza locks it up a little bit as well. It's still Giafoni with the spot. More racing further back as well. Eric Schouten trying to get to the inside of Hudson Schwartz. They'll go side by side through. Indeed, Schouten to the inside of Schwartz. He'll go to 4th. Move the Brazilian to P4. Brienza looking to try to clean things up. Little lockup, left front lockup there for Taylor in turn number 4. Clean through the snake. This is where you got to be. I had both Jackson Bell and Sebastian Weldon in the booth yesterday, and I asked them, where would you want to be on the last lap? Bell wanted to be P1. Weldon wanted to be P2. So Giafoni right there, but Taylor, this kid wants a victory. Giafoni with the point lead, comfortable one at that. 4 wins on the season. Brienza wants to fight back as well after that DNF yesterday. Here comes the big run. And indeed, Taylor is right there. Expect side by side. What are we going to see when they come out at turn number 14? That turn 15 camera will pick it up. A bit of a dead spot there coming into 14. We'll see what we get when they come out of the corner here. Does Taylor make the move now? White flag will fly this time by. What are we going to get coming through? Is it D-Force or is it VRD? It is D-Force holding on. No, Taylor to the inside. Book it. He'll take it to the inside. Taylor goes to the lead. No, side by side down the hill. They're not done. Taylor's going to try to eke out coming into 17. He goes off. Taylor off the racetrack. Taylor goes off. And he is going to make contact with the tires. He tried it. He goes off in 17. Here comes the scrap. They're going to let this thing go, I bet, for the second half of the lap, because we will, of course, go yellow and checker. Here's the fight for the race win. Lock up again. Giafoni still with the lead. Brienza going. Who's on the outside? Schouten spins. Schouten will spin from the outside. He tried to hold it. Giafoni's still there. Hudson Schwartz now up to third. Eric Schouten tried to run the outside. He had a potential top 5. He goes off the racetrack. Again, we already know Taylor and the tires over in 17. Schouten's going to get back on. He'll fall to the back. It's Brienza's opportunity here now. He's almost got to go for it in 11 because I think the yellow will come out. You could potentially pass at the end of the straightaway. I don't know if we have full course yellow at pick up a station if we can. They're letting him race, and why not? It's the final corner. The driver is way off the racetrack. They could probably actually let this go all the way to the checker, to be honest, because Taylor's so far off the racetrack. Giafoni holding the spot. Brienza's going to have to send it going down into turn number 14 if he wants the victory here. But Giafoni trying to get 4 in a row. I don't think the Brienza's close enough. They'll work their way down the back chute. Schwartz up into third. What a good run for Hudson Schwartz, the lead VRD driver. Taylor certainly went for it, like I said. And here they come again. Who's it going to be coming out of turn number 15? Brienza's not close enough. Giafoni's going to be clean and green. Checker flag will fly this time by. Indeed, Taylor so far off the racetrack, no need. They'll work their way down into turn number 17. Brienza not close enough. In fact, he's going to potentially get challenged by Schwartz. So talk about it. Coming up the front straightaway. Back to back to back to back jacks. 4 in a row. Giafoni winning race 2 at VIR. 4 straight victories for Giafoni. But a good recovery from the DNF yesterday for Joey Brienza. He'll go second. Hudson Schwartz ends up in third. Brady Golan up into fourth. Lucas Fakuri fifth. Jimmy Lockhart holds on for 6th. Ethan Barker 7th. Eric Schouten back on track. He's going to fall deeper in the field as Ethan Ho finishes 8th. Giovanni Cabrera in 9th. Schouten in 10th. Taylor 11th. Jeffers 12th. Carson Etter had an issue 13th and Quinn Armstrong in 14th. Everybody took a shot at Giafoni, but no one could make it stick. Giafoni with the win. 0.2 of a second at the line. Brienza, though, fighting back a DNF yesterday after contact with Fakuri, going for third. He ends up in second and maybe thought about that. I'll take the P2 and try to come back in race 3 for the win. But Giafoni just stretching that lead. 0.2 of a second, the victory over Joey Brienza. And how about 13-year-old Hudson Schwartz on the podium? Joined the series at Barber. Did not make the opening round. But wow, what a good run for Hudson. Number 29 driver out of Arlington, Virginia. So again, home state race here for Hudson Schwartz, and he puts it on the podium. Giafoni, Brienza, and Schwartz, your podium. Golan in 4th. Great job for the Texan. Fakuri in the 5th spot. Here's the shot here. Here's your replay. This is the battle between Taylor going at it with Giafoni. Taylor looked like he had it, sent it down into 16. You can see how much he throws it in there, and just can't keep it on the racetrack. Just drops a wheel, can't get it turned. And we'll watch that again. Let's rewind it back. This was the battle for the race win. I talked about Max Taylor wanting this so badly. As he comes down there into 16 and to 17, he just lets it go, and he probably needed to brake a little more. You can see the car just couldn't turn, and off he went. And at that point, a passenger. Well, there you have it, folks. Giafoni with the win. Brienza and Schwartz, they'll work their way into pit lane. It is time for victory lane. Don't go anywhere. After some quick messages, we'll be back with podium celebrations.